Ed, let's talk some LL League football. It's District 3 time. We're going to talk about the LL League teams. That's why I said it. It feels like it's still LL League because there's 11 teams, 9 of them from the LL League from Lancaster County still involved in the playoffs. We got 8 games. I'm doing all the stuff you gave me. I felt like I'm an expert here. It's all because you filled me in so well. 3 of these teams we're talking about are playing each other. Let's talk about those first. Manheim Township versus Wilson. These guys played in Section 1 already, so this is a rematch. And that was a pretty good game a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it was one of Wilson's tougher games of the year. 17-0 final score, but really a closer game than that.
Right.
Just played a few weeks ago. Wilson 10-0, Township 5-5. But it's a game that I think is going to be played closer than what the records may indicate.
Yeah, Wilson's got his number 1 seed, Township is 16, but I'm thinking this is one of the harder 16 seed teams for number 1 to play because of what I saw. Township has a good defense, Wilson has a good offense. It's really going to be interesting. I think clash here again because there's no new. Are they going to throw new surprises at each other here? This is one you really can talk about. You've seen these teams play here.
Right. I wouldn't expect many surprises. I think these two teams know each other. I think they know what they're going to do. Wilson never really tries to surprise anyone.
Right.
Township, again, they're not really a team that's going to come out and try any kind of real gimmickry kind of surprises. So I think these two teams are going to probably pick up where they left off a few weeks ago, and we're going to start with quarter 5, 6, 7, and 8.
And could there be an upset, or do you think it's Wilson's going to get a win here?
I'd be surprised if Wilson doesn't win this game. They're at home.
Okay.
They've got a lot to play for. Obviously, Township does too. But, Wilson, the playoff experience, everything in their favor. If Township did win, obviously it would be a huge upset.
If memory serves, when they played a few weeks ago, it was at Manheim Township.
It was at Township.
So that could play a factor playing it in Shillington or whatever, up there where Wilson played. West Lawn, that's it. Another matchup, LL team. This used to be a Section 2 battle. It still is, but it's going to change real soon with Garden Spot moving. When they have to move. No, they're staying in Section. They stay in Section 2 in the future?
Garden Spot?
Yeah.
They're in 3.
They're in 3 now, so that's what I'm saying. Years ago, this used to be a real
clash.
They
used to be, right.
Garden Spot, I think it hurts them that they're Section 3 this year because their points weren't as high. They're a 15 seed playing Manheim Central at home versus a 2 seed. Is this going to be close? I mean, you got the air assault of Garden Spot. They like to air it out.
Mitch Martin is a good quarterback. Kind of a do-it-all kind of guy for Garden Spot. These two teams played in last year's district opener.
Okay.
Central won 35-7. This year, Garden Spot not as good, I don't think, as they were a year ago. Central better, much better than they were a year ago. So I think you can probably draw your own conclusions from that.
Central's had 3 straight mercy rule games.
3 straight shutouts as well.
3 straight shutouts.
Right.
Are you saying this could be a 4th week in a row where they're beating up on an opponent?
It wouldn't surprise me.
35-7 last year. Saying Garden Spot's not as good in what you've seen.
Right. It wouldn't surprise me if Manheim runs away with this game. Garden Spot was 18th a week ago in the district rankings.
Yeah.
Had some help. Won their last game to their credit. Had some help. Got in at 15. Now they have to go play at Manheim. So
not good.
It's a tough situation for them.
We got one more local one. LS playing Lancaster Catholic. I think this is a neat matchup here.
It's a very good matchup.
11 seed versus a 6 seed.
Right.
What do you like in this matchup?
A lot of history here with these two teams. They were Section 3 rivals for a long time. Starting next year, they're going to be Section 2 rivals. So there's a lot of different angles with this game. I think they're both better than their record. They're both 5-5, but I think they're better than that. This, I think, is a toss-up game. LS and Catholic. I think it's going to be one of the better games of the night on Friday.
That sounds like it could be a real fun game. One of the other ones that I'm really intrigued about has a team from outside the Lancaster 11 League playing, but I think it's going to be one of the better matchups intrigue-wise, an 8 versus 9 seed. I'm talking Cedar Cliff. Jim Contafio, who used to coach at Conestoga Valley, he's now coaching Cedar Cliff versus Penn Manor. What do you like in this matchup?
Again, this is a rematch of last year's district opener. Penn Manor won that game going away 43-10. Different Cedar Cliff team this time around. Their quarterback, Andrew Ford, he was there a year ago, matured, better quarterback this year. Division I kid. Cedar Cliff beat McDevitt 2 weeks ago. This is going to be a tough game. I think, again, toss a coin. But, this year Penn Manor has to go to Cedar Cliff, and they've got to deal with a passing attack that, quite frankly, they really haven't seen in Section 1 of the LL League.
So you're saying it could go to the Cedar Cliff here. This time around.
It wouldn't surprise me. If Ford has a big night,
Yeah.
anything could happen.
He is sharp. Well, I remember the beginning of your Contafio played CV, and halftime they're up big, and he said that Ford was audibly and changing plays in the line of scrimmage, just things he sees. So he's picked up and grasped from the offseason into this year. This guy is legitimate Division I quarterback.
Oh yeah, no question.
I guess he's committed to Virginia Tech right now.
Yep.
Was a recruit at one point with Penn State. So this guy, you're playing a legitimate quarterback here, and there's not that many in the LL League. I can think that Penn Manor's had to go against this year.
Right.
So, what other matchups in the LL League teams are involved with in district?
We have Cocalico. Let's not forget them. They're in AAA. They're the third seed. They're hosting Gettysburg. I would expect Cocalico to win this game. I don't want to say easily, but to win it by a fairly comfortable margin. I'd be surprised if they didn't. I think they're loaded. We know all the names: Janice, Moser, so on and so forth. I think Cocalico is in this for the long run.
Good. What else? Did we hit all the ones? Besides
we have two Lebanon County teams.
Ones?
Lebanon at Dallastown and Quade, which I think is a real interesting matchup because I don't think Dallastown has seen anyone on their schedule like Lebanon quarterback Mark Piles. In AA, you have Anvil at Littlestown. Anvil, they've played well the second half. Yeah, they're an 8 seed in an 8-team field. Yeah, they have a losing record, 4-6, but they had a really tough start. And I'm not predicting an upset here of a 10-0 Littlestown team, but Anvil's a tough team to figure out. Heck, they cost me like 7 or 8 wins in our sports writers derby, so I know that for a certainty.
Yeah, you're not gonna go against them right now. Lebanon, could that be a shootout there with Dallastown? Are they going against a quarterback as good as Piles this year?
See, I don't know if Dallastown has faced anyone like Piles. The thing about Lebanon, though, is that their defense has struggled. I saw them twice this year against Manheim and against Cocalico.
Wow.
Tough outings both times for them. If their defense can hold up and their offensive line can hold up, Piles has a big night. I wouldn't be surprised if a 14 knocks off a 3 in this situation.
Should be fun. Check us out next week to see how he did in his predictions.